Hello, Brobs. We're back with new book Rivals number 289. If you can believe it. New book Arrivals. And this will go under New Book Arrivals. New Book Arrivals. They're there. All right. Let's start with the first book, which is more a booklet than anything. And people would be like, why would you get this? But to me, as I've stated, this is religionist would disagree with that. That the angel is a very supernatural being, and it's honestly no different than searching for ghosts. I mean, because how many people have actually seen an angel according to their own senses? Not many. Afraid of the Dark, Flo and Mark Unger. Huntington Woods, Death at the Boathouse, Crystal Lake, Beulah, Michigan. Afraid of the Dark, the true story of a desperate husband, his stunning wife, and the murder that shattered a family. Let's see how stunning his wife was. I mean, not that it matters. Was she stunning? I mean, she's pretty good looking. She's good looking. Detroit mortgage broker Mark Unger adored his wife Florence and their two young sons, but after a decade of marriage and increasing financial trouble, Mark's life began to slowly unravel. He became addicted to painkillers and gambling and ended up spending 5 months in rehab. A beautiful wife who wanted to be free, forced to go back to work, Flo became bitter and resentful of Mark and began to have an affair with one of his friends. When Mark returned home and his disability checks weren't enough to make ends meet, Flo filed for divorce, a brief vacation that would change their lives forever. Panicked by the thought of losing her, Mark did everything he could to win Flo back. Even though she resisted his efforts, Flo did agree to a weekend getaway at the family's favorite lakeside resort. But after their first night there, Flo went missing, and the next day her corpse was found floating in the water. And you know the rest of the story. Almost Paradise, the murder of multi-millionaire Ted Ammon in the Hamptons, America's playground of the rich and famous. Famous. On October 22nd, 2001, handsome multi-millionaire financier Ted Ammon was found bludgeoned to death in the magnificent East Hampton mansion he'd built with his beautiful wife, Generosa. She stood to make millions, but it wasn't the money that made Ted's friends suspicious. Generosa Ammon had a history of violent outbursts and bizarre obsessions, but even his wealth and power, a talented interior decorator, Generosa had fashioned a lavish lifestyle for her husband and their two children. But when Generosa discovered Ted had a mistress, her demons were unleashed. She began a very public affair with Danny Pelosi, a strikingly handsome womanizer who was also her electrician. She called him her tool belt guy, but he was also an ex con who was suspected of playing a pivotal role in Ted's murder. And there you go. Shaman King, Hiroyuki Takai, Shonen Jump manga. And it comes with a card for Dave Robillard. Handy Electrics. Yeah, you know what manga is. There you go. I just collect them because my kid used to read them, but now I don't think so. Beastars, Volume 1. As I've said, collected a bunch of manga for my child, but Said child no longer wants them apparently, but I still get them when they're 50 cents or cheaper. In case I ever have a bookstore. Does it say FAP? No, it says FEEP. Flap. I thought it said FAP. I was going to say, that's really nice. That's real nice, buddy. Impatient Virgin. You'll have to admit she's good company. Hey, baby. Impatient Virgin. Because Ruth Robbins was dazzlingly beautiful, or blonde, and splendidly put together, the small New England town where she was born and raised thought her fast. It was even rumored that she believed in free love, and everyone from handsome Myron, the deacon's son, to Mr. Hasbrook, the president of the bank, tried to make love to her. Good men. Triangle Books. Copyrighted 1931. I don't know. Is this? I wonder if this book's the same size. Because if it is not. It's going to be stolen of its jacket. Very poor looking paper. What's this called? Thirsty Range. What other books? There's Triangle Books. Departure in Publishing. Weekend Marriage. Oh no. Case of the Velvet Claws. Gunsight Pass. Rich or Not Proud. Death Stalks the Range. Odds on Love. Triangle Books. Hasty Wedding. Flaming Forest. Lady Named Lou. You'll have to admit she's good company. I don't have to admit nothing, buddy. But this seems like a nice reader for the channel. No Hero This. The story of a country doctor who went to war by Warwick Deeping. Holy shit, I didn't even know this was Warwick Deeping. I didn't even look. All I saw was this. The American Lending Library, Inc. Cincinnati, Ohio. Property of American Lending Library. And this lady, Mrs. Emmy H. Heffler, Mary, what's it say? 1942. Oh, May 1942. Bought a bunch of her books today. Seems like she never returned her books to the library. What does that say? McCrory's. And you can see the library due dates in the back of the book. Warwick Deeping's novels. I have a couple of these actually. I have this one, Old Wine and New. Sorrel and Son, I think I have too, but it's falling apart. Let's see if this one has the same stampage. Yeah. This book is the property of the American Lending Library. Never sold, only loaned. Obviously not in great shape, but there you go. There's the checkouts as well. See if there's any other markings. No. Sally, or Emily by Sally Benson. Thought I had a third one. Oh, yeah, I do have a third one of these. This one is from Chicago, I believe. And there's the rates on the cover, which is what made me have to get this book. What does that say? Minimum 15 cents. Rate for 3 days. 5 cents each day, additional day. So you had to rent it for 3 days. And this is the American Lending Library of Chicago. I'm assuming there was a nationwide affiliate of this library, lending library, that it was probably in every city. So that's Chicago, and this book is the property of the American Lending Library, Inc. Does that say? Oh, that says never sold, only loaned. All right, so I have 3 of those, different ones from the 40s. What is this? Viavi Hygiene. Copyright 1899, copyright 1908. So you can assume it's the 1908. Revised edition. Oh, there it is, 1912. The Viavi system of treatment for men, women, and children is based by Heartland Law and Herbert Law. The Viavi office. Damn, there was Viavi offices everywhere. I gotta look that up. The hell is the Viavi office? The following is a partial list of the cities. To those who have secured health by means of the Viavi system of treatment, and to those who devote their lives to its promulgation, this volume is respectfully inscribed. Viavi Hygiene. I'll look this book up on eBay and see. I would have got it regardless if it's worth anything, but Viavi Hygiene. I think I paid $2.20 for this. Life is not a burden to be borne, nor living a task to be done. Life belongs not to us alone to be wasted or improved as may best suit our inclinations. We have the social instincts strongly developed and must therefore have duties to others as well as to ourselves. This law of our being is one of the fundamental principles of all the great religions. Let's see if any of these have sold. There's Viavi, 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 Viavi. All right, let's check. Sold and completed. Obviously, it's kind of like this. There we go. We don't have many good diagrams, but there's one. Enlargement of the womb. That's sold before. $15.99. $12.98 plus shipping. Yeah, $10, $15 book. If I get sick of it, I can always sell it. The Viavi capsule. Obviously, it's got a tear to the spine, but I suppose it could be fixed by somebody with some goddamn knowledge. I still like it. Viavi. Viavi. This book, I originally thought Ex Libris Charissimus, but I thought it was just like slang for Christmas, like New York slang, but apparently it's an actual Roman or Latin word, Charissimus. 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 Superlative degree of charis, used as a term of endearment. Charissimus, adjective, dear, beloved, high-priced, expensive, costly, precious, valued. Oh wait, that's Charissimus. High valued, that's what that means. Christopher Morley. These were discussions he gave at the University of Pennsylvania. I think in the 20s. Got this one for $2 and it's worth it. I like it. Nice dust jacket on it, $2. Can't go wrong. Cannot go wrong, bruv. You can't. What Elizabethan wrote a somewhat Rabelaisian pamphlet on plumbing, forerunner of the specialist. What are the various publishing tricks behind First printings. Why did many people mistake a bibliography of a famous English author for a novel of of a woman of the streets? What book characterized by fullness of spirit, tranquility, blah, 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 blah. Next, we go to 100 Years of the American Two-Move Chess Problem by Kenneth S. Howard. Don't like chess, but I still collect books on chess. Just to me is a more complicated version of checkers. And I'm not going to sit around for hours and play a fucking strategy game with some person who's hell-bent on beating me. The Royal Mysteries and Pretenders by Stanley B.R. Poole. Blandford's Problems of History series. Oh, look. Pearson Marvin. Ex Libris. Nice. Don't know who that is, but... Oh, what's this? Charles Matthews Jr., 503 North Jefferson Street, Newcastle, Pennsylvania. What does it mean, bruv? Sales, sacks, sass, slack, slake, sack. Asses. Lace, last, leak, lack, lake, cask. Case, cess? Or is it cis? Cisgender. Yeah. 6 Years to Sunrise. Catherine Hoff Mount. Karen Hoff Lafnir. Co-author Harry Knitter. Separated by War, United by Love. I believe this is a book that deals with somebody from Michigan, which is why I got it. Yeah, Clarkston, Michigan. I think it's... centers around a small Michigan town. Can't remember where. Auburn Heights, a suburb of Detroit. So, just another Michigan-related book to put in my archives. Tom Shales on the air. Coming to you from TV's funniest, nastiest, nationally syndicated columnist Tom Shales. Gunga Dan, Morris the Cat, Johnny Carson, Farrah, Bo, Cheryl, singing sausages. Fast food with relish. Don't know who he is, but I'll put it in my newspaper section of books. I'm kind of running out of room here. Let's just do this one. The House on the Hill. I got this at Goodwill for $1.29, I think. The mystery of her sister's death would not let her rest, but the entire town conspired against her attempts to solve it. Obviously, a gothic romance, a Lancer, best-selling gothic. Hey, look, it even says gothic. A town of enemies. No one wanted Nancy Robbins to stay in Malinville. Everywhere she turned, she saw only stony faces and cold stares. The powerful Malin family made it clear that they considered her an outsider who did not belong. The sheriff would have helped her. Who could have helped her, advised her to leave, but she had to stay. Even if reason told her otherwise, her heart would not let her go. She had loved her sister, and her sister had died after marrying Jamie Malin. There could be no peace for Nancy until she found out how and why. It took all her determination to see her through. There were vicious confrontations, savage fights, even a duel. And finally, Nancy found the one man who could help her ease her troubled heart and then steal it. Here's this 1972. Feels like a 1972. Nope, 67. The House on the Hill. After the Darkness, a novel on the coming of the Antichrist and the end of the world by Reverend Joseph M. Esper. I don't know why people write novels on the end of the world, considering that there's always been end of the world scenarios and there's no real need for a novel. You could just write what you think's going to happen, but I guess that's the kind of same thing. Today, more than ever before, we are deeply curious about what the future holds. Most Catholics, however, are unaware of the rich tradition of private revelations and prophecies which form part of our religious heritage. And after the darkness, the author weaves these prophecies, visions, and predictions into a chilling and fascinating story about the end. Hey, it's fascinating. Your life's going to be over, and so is the planet. Though, that's right, some people say that the end times doesn't necessarily mean that the world's going to end. Just, I don't know what's going to end, actually. Let's grab a couple more books, push these motherfuckers aside. Don't swear. Don't swear, please. Petty Magic. Being the memoirs and confessions of Miss Evelyn Harbinger, temptress and troublemaker, by Camille DeAngelis. Of course, this is look to make. I can't even say it. It's made to look. That's what it is. Made to look like it's almost a biography, but it's a novel on petty magic. Let's see what the back says. Be schlock. If Mary Shelley were writing today and she might have penned this darkly romantic monster story, DeAngelis ultimately charms and moves us with this heartbreaking fairy tale of a novel. A charming curiosity shop of a novel packed to bursting with secret histories and glittering marvels. Yeah. Crimes and the Rich and Famous by Carl Safakis. After the murders of Nicole Simpson and Ron Goldman, the most famous picture of O.J. Simpson was not of any of his football exploits, but the LAPD mugshot of his arrest. It's basically just an encyclopedic book on famous murders, famous murder cases, and famous people who committed murder, etc. All right, we're getting near the end here. Knight of Stone, Death and Memory in 20th Century Russia. Finalist for the 2001 Lionel Gelber Prize, Catherine Meridell. Meridell's account of how ordinary Russians coped with violent death on a scale few of us can even imagine is an epic and moving history. During the 20th century, Russia, Ukraine, and other territories of the former Soviet Union experienced more bloodshed and violent death than anywhere else on Earth. 50 million dead in an epic of destruction that encompassed war, revolution, famine, epidemic, and political purges. In Knight of Stone, Catherine Meridell asks Russians the most difficult questions about how their country's volatile past has affected their everyday lives, aspirations, dreams, and nightmares, drawing upon evidence from rare imperial archives, Soviet propaganda, memoirs, letters, newspapers, literature, psychiatric studies, and interviews. Knight of Stone provides a highly original and revealing history of modern Russia. Yeah, I mean, people rightly point out that Hitler was a madman killer, but nothing like Joseph Stalin. Stalin was the master of death. Killed probably 6-7 times more people than Hitler ever did. A true story. Doris Van Stone with Erwin Lutzer. Dory, the girl nobody loved. Forward by Evelyn Christian. I was going to get this book just to read, just because it looks like something that's non-standard, but then it's signed, so I'll probably sell it. Someone has said that when you have nothing left but God, you realize that God is enough. God had stood beside me when no one else wanted me. He was not going to abandon me. Now, God would have to heal the emotional pain and throb through my body. As a child, Dory was rejected by her mother, sent to live in an orphanage where she was regularly beaten by the orphanage director, was beaten time and again by cruel foster parents, and was daily told that she was ugly and unlovable. Dory never knew love until a group of college students visited the orphanage and told her that God loved her. As she accepted that love, her life began to change. 1979. There's Dory. Finally, Madeleine Albright's Prague Winter, a personal story of remembrance and war, 1937 to 1948. A book I probably wouldn't have bought if it wasn't signed by the old crone, Madeleine Albright. Does that say Evie? Irv? Evie? Before Madeleine Albright turned 12, her life was shaken by the Nazi invasion of Czechoslovakia, the country where she was born, the Battle of Britain, the near total destruction of European Jewry, not jewelry, the Allied victory in World War II, the rise of communism, and the onset of the Cold War. Albright's experiences and those of her family provide a lens through which to view the most tumultuous dozen years in modern history. As I said, I wouldn't have bought it. She's a New World Order communist, but yeah. First edition, signed. Probably should hold on to it since I only paid 95 cents. 2012, but well, Madeleine Albright's, what's it called? As you can see, it's got water damage to it. Will Madeleine's Albright's stature increase over the years? I think not. I think it will be demeaned. Great picture. Nice pipe. Madeleine Albright. With Bill Woodward. Anyway, there you go. That's all. That's all we got, bruvs. Unless anyone wants to donate $600 million to me. I don't think this is closed. These are the newest arrivals. And we'll stack them back up and then close this butter churning bullshit out. Butter churning, I tell you. Anybody got anything to say before I fuck off? Answer me. All right, peacing out.